What is up and what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Night Owl 141, and we're back here on COD World War II because they launched the Days of Summer event yesterday, and that kind of took everybody by surprise. We're gonna be going ham today in Team Deathmatch, but with a slight twist, something that you do not expect. But if you've played it already, you can probably guess what it is. We are going to be in aircraft, so we're going to be dogfighting in the aptly named Dogfight mode that was actually added as part of the event. And this is not actually the first time we've seen aircraft in COD World War II multiplayer. If you'll remember, a couple of months ago we had that map, Blitzkrieg, or rather that was the DLC, and they had a war map in which the final section of that war map was a dogfighting section identical to this one. So they decided to basically take that and, just put it as its own separate mode for this event, which honestly I think is super cool, because that's something we've never really seen in a Call of Duty game before, right? Dogfighting. In multiplayer, that's just totally inconceivable. And as you can see right here, it does take a while to get used to flying the plane. I've played a lot of War Thunder, but of course I play War Thunder with mouse and keyboard, so this is quite different. One of the things you'll notice instantly is that you don't have to lead your shots, which actually makes it very hard to hit the targets, right? Like, these targets are kind of sleek, they're not very big targets, so you do have to, aim somewhat. And of course they can take a relatively large amount of hits to actually die. So you do have to hold your fire on them for a bit. What you will notice here is that I actually don't die. I believe I die either once or no times. And this is because of really advanced maneuvering that I've kind of gotten down. I did get better in a few matches, but of course this was actually my best match, and it was the first match that I ever played of this mode. And it's just a very fun mode, I think. Every 4 kills you get flak guns, as I did just there, and I do believe that they kill a few people. They don't really kill everybody, as I had previously thought, because that was just my idea, that you call in flak guns and they just get you all the kills. They're like a V2 but for this mode. Well, it turns out that that's actually not really the case, but still they do get quite a few kills, so it is always nice to get them. What I've noticed here is that you always want to keep yourself up, right? You always want to be above your enemies so that you can kind of swoop down on them like a falcon or something like that. That is a very good strategy, and I'm not sure if I'm really employing that too much here, but But there will be 2 more matches after this one where hopefully that will be a little bit more visible. So right here, you just want to get on somebody's tail and take them out. But of course, if somebody's on your tail, then you need to do advanced maneuvering to, shake them off, right? And what I usually do is I'll fly in very irregular patterns. I will use these pyramids. These pyramids are actually great for getting people off your tail, because you can do like a sudden turn around the pyramid, and a lot of times they'll actually crash into it. So, and you can actually do the same with these zeppelins around here, right? Basically to fool your enemies and to sort of bait them, right? You can also go to the edges of the map where there are flak guns, and a lot of people won't actually follow you there. So you kind of just go to the edge of the map. You always got to be careful so that you don't die there, and then basically when your enemies back off, then you can just come back into the fight. Also, one thing that I didn't know, which I learned in the next match, or I think not even then, was that you actually have a throttle meter, and that's this blue line on the left. So you can go into full boost mode, or you can fully slow yourself down depending on what you need. Obviously, if you're being chased, you want to put as much gas as possible so that you can get away from whoever is shooting at you. And then if you need to do some turns, you might want to slow down a little bit. Now here, I do believe I survived. Yeah, I don't actually survive. This is, I think, my only death. As you can see, it is somewhat hard to shake off enemy attackers, because people are very persistent in this game mode, as you can imagine. Once somebody gets on your tail, they're just gonna keep pounding you like this until you're dead. I didn't know that thing about the throttle. Maybe if I knew about it, I would have been able to survive. But in any event, that's my only death, and I think I did incredibly well for my first game of this mode. Granted, I did play a lot of War Thunder, and funnily enough, it was with this exact same plane, which is the P-47 Thunderbolt. So I do know a little bit about flight sims, but of course, they're vastly different games. In War Thunder, somebody dies in like a few bursts, or of course here you have to shoot people a long period of time. And you can see right there, that's one of the problems of this mode, is that enemy planes will sometimes be lagging. You know, like they'll be skipping around the place, and that can make them a little bit hard to hit. Doesn't happen too often, but sure enough, when it happens, it is quite annoying. And I do feel that a lot of people kind of survive because of that. Right now I'm getting shot at here, and this is what I'm telling you, right? These pyramids, you want to do those sharp turns around the pyramids, and this really fools a lot of enemy players. They will sort of like follow you, but then, you know, when you do a sharp turn around the pyramid, they won't know what to do, and they'll usually just back off so that they don't crash. So that's actually a very good strategy, one that I've definitely been utilizing basically since I started playing this mode, right, on this map. And yeah, that's just one of the many ways, one of the many things that you need to keep in mind when playing this game mode, right? How can I shake off that attacker? You know, don't just give in. Don't just be one of those people that's gonna, you know, get one kill and then somebody's shooting him from behind, you know, whatever, let him kill me, right? No, you gotta try and shake him off. And in this second game, I had 13-2, so like not as good as the first one, but I just wanted to show off the German planes, you know. No real reason. Oh, actually, no. Wait. This is not that game. In the next one is going to be the German planes, I believe. Here, I do show off some maneuvering, and that is, yeah, that is basically this game mode right here. Now let me talk about the event Days of Summer. So, as you guys know, Days of Summer was already present last year with Infinite Warfare. And that event was one of the most successful events in Call of Duty ever, right? Like, I remember checking like the player count on Infinite Warfare, and it was like hundreds of thousands. You know what I mean? Like maybe millions. A lot of people tuned in to play at that point, and there was a lot of good stuff to be had in those Days of Summer, right? They gave us a new map, Turista, which, you know, not a lot of people liked it, but I personally did. They gave us a lot of variants and a lot of free stuff in general, right? And that's the exact same thing that they're doing here, right? We got a new free map called Sandbox. I will have gameplay of that later on. Not in this video, but like later on during the week. And there's also new weapons. One of which I managed to get, the submachine gun called the Ribeirol. And there's also a new game mode. Well, actually, it's not new. It's the Leprechaun game mode from the St. Patrick's Day event, where basically it's like regular hardpoint or whatever. And every now and then there's a leprechaun that you can kill, and when you kill him, he gives you all of your streaks. So if you have like paratroopers, I don't know, bombing run and bolt turret gunner, you kill the leprechaun and you get everything. So that's very cool. Haven't actually tried out the game mode yet, but I definitely will. And I also want to try out this event in Infinite Warfare. I want to see if they got anything new, if Turista is back, because I don't know, I was just talking to my friend Marco recently about how I kind of missed that map. I wish that I could get to play it like one more time before, you know, people stop playing Infinite Warfare entirely, which unfortunately will happen sooner or later. So I will be tuning into Infinite Warfare to see if that map is there. And as far as Black Ops 3 and Modern Warfare Remastered are concerned, I most definitely will not be playing those games because, well, I don't enjoy them. So there we go. And now I want to talk about the next thing, which some people may be wondering about. The Black Ops 4 beta. So the Black Ops 4 beta is going to be launching tomorrow. And a lot of people are asking me, will I play it? And the reality is that if the thing with what happened with World War II works, then I will play it. Basically, you can get the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 beta for free, if it's the same as with World War II, by making a Hong Kong account, going on to PSN Store, and just downloading it. And then you can play it on your main account. This is because it's illegal to have pre-order only betas in Hong Kong, so they can't actually do that. You can download it, and you literally don't have to use that account for anything else, as is the case with me. And if that works, then I will definitely play it. However, that will only be for one weekend. So only for this upcoming weekend. Because the next 2 weeks I will actually be going to the seaside, and I probably won't have I will have my PlayStation with me, but I'm not sure about like the Wi-Fi, how it's gonna be, what the internet's gonna be like. I will try to get gameplay so that I can at least upload it retroactively when I come back from the holidays, but no promises. Basically, if I get into the beta, I will try to upload a few clips during this first weekend, and past that, I don't really think that I will be having any additional content as far as the beta is concerned. But there will be a Black Ops 4 Blackout beta, which is the Battle Royale mode, coming in September. Sometime in September, we don't really know when. That's definitely something that I would be willing to check out, because this whole Battle Royale Call of Duty thing, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way in a lot of ways. Battle Royale is so antithetical to what Call of Duty is that it's hard for me to even imagine this being a thing, right? Like, Call of Duty is supposed to be fast-paced, small maps, hit-scan weapons, and then Battle Royale is the exact opposite of that. It's very slow, maps are ginormous, TTK is fairly high, so that's just all of those things that I just don't know if it's gonna work with Call of Duty, right? This is, by the way, that third gameplay where I'm showing off the German planes. Here, there will be a very long sequence where somebody will be chasing me, and I'll manage to just barely get away with my life. It'll be really cool. I got 9-0, not a lot of kills, because I was really just trying to avoid that one person, trying to just shake him off for a long period of time. But it is cool how I'm like basically on fire, and I still managed to make it out somehow with my head. Basically, to go back to what I was saying, right? Battle Royale is just a mode that I don't see working with Call of Duty whatsoever. One of the reasons why I stopped playing PUBG was because that game was very boring to me, and it still is very boring, right? The map is ginormous, and unless you have vehicles, right? Unless you find a car or something, I mean, you're just gonna be walking around forever, and that's if you manage to beat the blue zone, right? Which you usually don't. By the way, just a note, right here, I'm on fire. I'm on like an inch of health. If I just get touched by somebody, I'm dead. But I make it. This guy is persistent. He's still shooting, but he won't be able to kill me in the end, right? Anyway, what I was saying, PUBG. Game is just too slow-paced and too boring for me. And on top of that, something that I've always had a problem with in Battle Royale mode, Battle Royale games rather, is the whole armor/shield mechanic. That's just something that I don't necessarily like. In a lot of situations in Fortnite, you run into somebody and you could either kill him in like 3 or 4 shots, or it could take 7 or 8 shots depending on if they have shield or not. This creates a lot of inconsistency, and on top of that, it just kind of makes the gunfights rather unfair, If your target can soak up twice as many shots as you can, then what are you really supposed to do about it if you run into them in a 1v1 gunfight? And that's even assuming that you face them from the front. In most cases, in PUBG, most of my deaths are just getting shot from behind, from the side, right? From somewhere where I couldn't see them, and the same is true of Fortnite as well. I don't know how COD Battle Royale is gonna work, but honestly, I don't really think I'll be playing it that much, right? Like, for me, Call of Duty is a game where I almost exclusively play Team Deathmatch, a little bit of search, and a little bit of free-for-all, right? I want fast-paced action. I want small maps, or like relatively small maps. Walking around for 10 minutes trying to find somebody and just trying to beat the blue zone is not very fun for me at all. And so we'll see how they do it. Maybe if they make the map somewhat smaller, it could be definitely a more fun experience for me, right? But until then, I'll just be playing COD World War II because I actually really like the game right now, and I hope that I can bring some content of this, you know, revitalized World War II that we're now having for the few months that it's gonna be here. And yeah, that's about it. You know, guys, if you dropped COD World War II, right, I totally understand that, but I'm just telling you, try it again. If you haven't sold it, if you still have your copy, if you just haven't played this game for a long time, if you gave up on it, trust me, just turn it on, try it out. It is a much different game than it was before, and in my opinion, it is now a very good Call of Duty game. If it had launched like this, it would have been one of the best Call of Duties of all time. Anyways, that's it from me. This is your boy Night Owl, signing off.